Hello everybody, welcome back to Rain Gaming. Right, Happy New Year is the first thing I'm going to say, excuse me. Oh, there we go. No one wants to hear me coughing. Right, we're going to do my top games of 2014. We're going to start off with the awesome Wolfenstein. Now this was released on the PC, the X1, PlayStation 4, PS3 and the Xbox 360. So it came out across most of the consoles. It was developed by Machine Games and published by Bethesda, however you want to say it. You know. Anyway, you are playing William B.J. Blazkowicz, and it's kind of an alternative what happened if the Nazis did in fact win the Second World War. It starts in right at the end of the Second World War, and there's a big gap, no spoilers, but it's based after this is right at the start, but after this it kind of is based in the 60s. So the weapons and everything it's very futuristic, basically, even though it's a kind of alternative. There's a dual wielding system and quite a comprehensive cover system, which do work really well. And you are basically trying to find Death's Head like you always do in these games, and it is good fun. It did get some nominations for Game of the Year, but sadly it didn't win any, which is a shame. But I love corridor shooters, and this basically is a corridor shooter. Right, next up we have South Park, The Stick of Truth, a complete change to the last game we were looking at. This was developed by Obsidian Entertainment and published by Ubisoft. It was available on the 360, the PS3 and the PC. It didn't come out for next gen because it was in development for far too long, and obviously it didn't happen. Anyway, this is an RPG in the kind of same vein as the Final Fantasy, turn-based combat. You play the new kid in South Park, and you get kind of involved with all the characters from the awesome TV series, who are playing a kind of massive RPG game where they're trying to defend this thing called the Stick of Truth. Now, in typical South Park fashion, it does go absolutely mad. Now, sadly enough, this game was censored to bits in this country, and I was lucky enough to get it on a PC, and it isn't censored at all, so you do get to fight Nazi zombies and Kim Kardashian's abortion. It is very, very silly, but it is surprisingly deep once you get into it. Like any decent RPG, there's a choice of characters, there's a choice of weapons. You can change all of your attire. You can wear armor. It is really, really deep. I would recommend picking it up, especially now if you get it on the consoles. It's going to be very, very cheap. You can probably get a CD key from somewhere for a tenner. Anyway, up next, the only Xbox One exclusive on this list, it's Sunset Overdrive. Now this was published by Microsoft, but made by Insomniac Games, and we all like Insomniac. They make some fantastic games. Basically, you are an employee of a company called Fizgo, who have released an energy drink called Overcharge, which has the effect of doing what energy drinks probably should do, making everyone energized, but it also turns them into these crazy little mutants called OD, as you can see swarming below me here. Now you're kind of tasked with getting Sunset City back, making it a safe place to live again, or as safe as it could be. Obviously doing this, there's a load of missions and stuff. And now it's a sandbox, so it's very open world, or completely open world. You can do whatever you like, and there's tons and tons and tons of collectibles in this as well. I think the count was nearing 400. And with the DLC they've just released, there's another 20 in that as well. So if you like collecting stuff, do it. The collectibles in this as well are worth getting, because they not only do you get achievements for it, which is always a treat, they help with all sorts of other things as well. Now the way you get around Sunset City isn't by running and gunning like you would in other games. It's doing what you've seen me doing here for the last couple of minutes, grinding, bouncing, using traversals basically. Now, doing this, you can see there's lightning and stuff. This is these amps you can get for your weapons, and all the weapons in this you can level up as well. So they start at level 1, you can level them up to 5, and they're ridiculous. TNT teddies, things like this little thing at the bottom here that's shooting out acid. Absolutely crazy. Now this game breaks the fourth wall continuously. The character's always talking to the camera. You can get an announcer who says things to you as well. Fantastic. Right, next up we have Far Cry 4. Ubisoft Montreal made this, and it was published by Ubisoft, as you can imagine. This was available on the PC, the X1 and the PS4. If you liked Far Cry 3, you will love Far Cry 4. You play a guy called AJ Gali, who is in his home country of Kryat, which is a kind of mythical place, but you know, it's there. And you've gone back there to spread your mother's ashes. So I mean, the story starts off kind of, you know, you're on a coach, you've gone to spread your ashes, when you're interrupted by the this crazy dude called Pagan Min, who is the king of Kryat. Now, he is a dictator, but the kind of lines between him being an evil baddie and, you know, a bit misunderstood are quite blurred in this as well. He is a complete psychopath, and there is no doubt about it. He's completely mad, but he is one of the best villains, and I think this is one thing they do very well with Far Cry, is they make these crazy villains. Troy Baker plays him as well, so he's got some pedigree in the acting as well. Everything from Far Cry 3 is back, plus other things as well. Obviously, if you want to carry more weapons, you have to go hunting to craft better gear. Same for money and the likes. Now, the outposts is what I'm doing here are back. And they've also added something called fortresses. Now, there are 5 or 6 of these scattered around the map, and as you progress through the story, certain things you do will weaken these fortresses. Basically, they are like outposts, but they're big and they are quite tough. You have to go in there basically, and once you've captured them, the enemies will stop spawning in such great numbers. So you can kind of go around the area you've been round without worrying too much about the bad guys. Now, after finishing this game, you can reset all the outposts as well, and you can reset the fortresses, so there always is something to do. There are tons of collectibles. Excuse me, coughing again. And we all like collectibles, although there are more collectibles than achievements, if that makes sense. Now, this is running on the Xbox. The PC version, unfortunately, is still a bit of a buggy mess, so I've decided not to put that up. Excuse me. Now, this game hasn't won any awards. I think it was probably released a little bit too late in the year for that, but it has got lots and lots of awesome reviews. I mean, people are giving it 7s and 8s, 9.5s I've seen as well. It really, really is good fun. There's also a new arena mode in it as well now, which basically tests you against wave after wave. You know, kind of like horde mode of ever increasingly difficult enemies. And there are certain achievements attached to that, and there are certain rewards attached to it as well. You can get better guns and the likes. Now, you can also ride elephants this time around, which is a great idea. So, you know, there's lots of different ways of taking outposts. So this one I'm trying to be sneaky, but, you know, typical Ren style, I didn't. But alternatively, you can charge in through the front gates riding an elephant. Co-op as well, so you and your friend can both co-op the... You can't do the whole game co-op, but you can do lots and lots of individual missions co-op. So it is really, really good fun. Next up, and my favourite game of the year, I have to say, is the awesome Alien Isolation. This was developed by the Creative the Creative Assembly, and it was published by Sega. Now, after the not terribly good Alien games we've been subjected to over the years, this was a breath of fresh air. It's set 15 years after Alien, or 40 odd years before the events of Aliens. You play Amanda Ripley, who is the daughter of Ellen Ripley, who is looking for her mum, basically. You find I'd say disused, it isn't disused, but a kind of abandoned station. And things start to go wrong, really, from the minute you try to get on it. You can see here, this is right at the start, I've just got on there and we're just looking around. But this game is so atmospheric. It's true to the movie. I mean, you only have to watch, if you watch Alien again and then come back and look at some footage on here. It's absolutely amazing. The sound is fantastic. The alien, I haven't got any footage of it because you don't actually encounter him for a while, is petrifying. Well, once you see him, it's absolutely petrifying. Now, it's a survival game, and it is a survival horror, but it's not really a first-person shooter, because even though you can get guns and you can get grenades and things like that, you can't kill the alien just by shooting. So, you know, it is a case of hiding when you see it, getting away from it, and waiting until it goes away. Now, there are human enemies and there are android enemies aboard this vessel as well. So there's plenty and plenty to keep you going. Now this did come out on the PC, the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox 360 and the PS3, and it is getting absolutely fantastic reviews. I can't recommend it highly enough. If you're a fan of the genre, or you're a fan of sci-fi games in general, or even a fan of Aliens, and this is well worth picking up. It does look fantastic on the PC. It does look great on the next generation, or the last generation of consoles. My wife was playing it on the Xbox 360, and again, it was just as effective on that. Obviously, just not as pretty and not the same effects. But yeah, if you want to scare yourself, get it. Anyway, guys, this has been a bit of a ramble. I don't often ramble on for 10 minutes, but thanks very much for watching it. Let me know what your games of the year were. Pop them in the comments underneath. Any questions? Anything you want to tell me? Again, chuck them underneath. It's been Ren Gaming, guys. Happy New Year again, and I'll see you all very, very soon.